The Morristown Green, a central park echoing with the footfalls of Washington and his compatriots during the Revolutionary War, is not merely a serene escape, but a living testament to the town's pivotal role in shaping our nation. Morristown's history seamlessly intertwines with every individual who grew up there, creating a childhood rich in the echoes of the past and a vibrant spirit of community carried forward by each successive generation. These are their stories. This is Beyond the Green.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Beyond the Green, where we talk about the people and places of Morristown. My name is Pete Barbonis, and welcome to another episode. As we're getting closer and closer to the Labor Day weekend and school is about to start, I thought it'd be quite a good time if I brought in one of my former classmates from the Morristown High School Class of 1990. Please help me welcome Barry Richards to the show. Hey, Barry.
Hey, Pete. How's it going?
Pretty good, buddy. Looking good, man. Looking good.
Thank you. Likewise. You've been hitting the gym.
Thank you. Like more like the buffet table, okay? So how you been?
I've been good, man. Been working my butt off, but sleeping at night and trying to keep growing.
Yeah. So growing up in the Morristown area, where did you grow up?
Well, I stayed in, the Collinsville area,
Okay.
Hazel Street, for most of the time. Actually, I was born in Newark and my family moved to Morristown. I guess when I was 3, 4, something like that. Spent most of the time there. Yeah.
And so where'd you go? So you went to Alfredville?
I remember Sussex at one point. I can't remember. That's early.
Sussex, yeah.
That was early on. Then Alfredville, I think that was the second. I guess that's where you and I became acquainted. It was maybe second, third grade. You said third grade, right?
And then Frelinghuysen after that.
Frelinghuysen, and then that was the junior high, right? And then Morristown High. That was the sequence. Yeah.
So, how was your high school experience for you?
High school was cool. I mean, I actually, I don't know. It was kind of like an all-American experience to me, though. High school. It was weird at first because just all teenage, I grew up in a pretty religious, upbringing. So when I went to, going into high school, I think the whole transition from junior high to high was a little odd for me. Just trying to get my teen legs outside of the church environment. That's really, just trying to fit in, to that was a little odd. But I enjoyed high school, man. I kind of loved it, The classes, the work wasn't that hard, so I kind of skated through by doing a decent amount of work. And I developed some good relationships, some good friends, and I play a little sports.
What did you play?
Actually, I ran track. So I played baseball through Babe Ruth League up until I was 16. And then I ran track at the high school, and I played football sophomore and senior year.
Good.
The problem is I never put too much effort into practice. So, it was good enough for me just to be on the team at that point. In retrospect, I might have wanted to be a little bit more, putting more energy into excellence. I think that's one of the things that's evolved over the years, is that my attention is more on excellence than it used to be.
Yeah.
But
is there any teachers that stood out for you?
Let's see. I know I had one teacher freshman year, and he was kind of a butthole. I can't remember he was my science teacher. I didn't like him very much. I can't remember what his name was, but he was also my drafting. No, that was that was a different teacher. My drafting teacher was pretty cool. And then I had an English teacher who was real cool. His name was I forgot his name. He had a very slow He was kind of like I can't remember his name from my life, but he was real
It's
cool.
all
He
right.
had glasses. I think he drank a lot. It's kind of like he kind of looked like Bob Hope, I believe, something like that. But he was a real cool teacher. He used to tell people to get out all the time. Yeah, man. So
I love how you're remembering these people.
yeah, a lot of people, and of course, I was into art, so all of my art teachers
Yeah,
were
yeah.
really cool. We had one Dr. Steve or something like that. I can't remember his name, but he was real animated. He was a doctor. So I remember he jumping on the table and doing some dramatic something when this
Sure,
and
sure.
something. But they took us on, we all went to the art museum in Times Square and or in Manhattan, and he just kind of let us roam the streets. And it's like
Okay.
three of us, and I'm wondering, what if we got, kidnapped or something, or hurt or whatever, and we're supposed to be in the
Yeah.
museum and we're just walking around streets of downtown Manhattan. But it was good times. It was good times.
Yeah, yeah. So after graduation, you found yourself in Atlanta.
Yes. Yeah.
What brought you down there?
Yeah. I had heard some great things about Atlanta. Uh, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it, in a lot of circles, it was considered the Mecca, the Black Mecca. You go there, there's good things in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to come to
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta, and there's a consortium of HBCUs in Atlanta, all in the
Mm-hmm.
same general vicinity. So I wanted to go, and I went to Clark Atlanta University is where I chose to go to.
Okay.
So I went there, and I wanted to have a great time. I mean, I really wanted to have a great time, like
Mm-hmm.
school days, Animal House, great time. That was my ambition when I went to college. He was like, I'm just going to have a
Okay.
great time. I'm kind of break out of my shell a little bit because I think in high school I was a little laid back and reserved,
Okay.
intentionally and not.
Okay.
But I wanted to kind of like reinvent myself a little bit and kind of have some
Okay.
fun. So I went. Unfortunately, I didn't really go to do work. I really went to have fun and meet women and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But and also, I went to school for commercial art at the time. That's what it was.
Okay.
Graphic design is what it became. Um, and so that's where I kind of started learning, the art of, you know, digital graphics and stuff with Photoshop and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It got me out of the computer lab doing DOS and C++.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what kind of launched me into Atlanta, man. And there was a lot
Yeah.
of good things going on in Atlanta at the time.
Yeah. How was the transition for you from going from, you were saying how high school was kind of easy for you, but transitioning into a college, did you feel prepared for that? Or was there a larger learning curve for you? Because college for some people is easy, some is really hard.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Um, I think the transition was probably just as dramatic, but in a different way. I was on my own, man. I wanted to be on my own. I loved being on my own. We had so much
mhm.
fun. I didn't drink like my whole freshman year. I just kind of had fun and, met a
Yeah.
bunch of people, did a lot of things. But, I think maybe second semester I was a little bit like, I feel like out of place, I'm weird. It's all that, but, after we broke through that, I had met some really good friends that are still friends to this day. And we
Hmm.
we had a ball, man. And then in Atlanta, it was vibrant at the time, man. We just found out we were getting the Olympics. The Braves are going to the
Hmm.
series every year, and I grew up a big
Hmm.
Mets fan, so that transition to the
Yeah.
Braves.
Wearing that Atlanta Brave shirt is a little sacrilegious for me right now. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, man. I was a major Mets fan when I was out. I used to
Yeah.
love that. And then,
Yeah. All I have to say, Barry, is damn you, Chipper Jones. That's all I have to say. Okay.
legendary, legendary.
Yeah.
Uh, but we had, it was just so much going on, and I had, in a lot of ways, and
Hmm.
and I didn't have much time to kind of like spending it because I got married like
Yeah.
before I even finished school.
Wow. Okay.
And then the kids came. So I was a grown young guy.
Yeah.
I got married in 95.
Wow.
Yeah.
Real young.
Yeah. And by 2000, I had 3 kids and a house on the hill and,
Yeah.
wearing khakis at that point. So, yeah, but I still look back to those, college days where, there was a lot of stuff and we had
Yeah.
Freaknik here in town, just, craziness going on. And
Yeah.
we just had such a good time, in the cities of
Yeah. Yeah.
Atlanta.
Yeah. That's great, man. So let's talk about this graphic novel that you just put out called Born Pariah.
Yeah.
Before we started taping here, you were talking about when you were in high school, you were a huge Marvel guy before Marvel was really Marvel the way it is today.
Yeah.
What characters did you like in the Marvel universe? Like, who were your guys?
All of I was a big X-Men. There were some other rivals. Everybody loved the X-Men back then. I used to like Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and all that, but they were a little hokey. X-Men was gritty. And of course, with like Wolverine was a top. Although I've always took the task with the Wolverine of the movie because the real Wolverine in the book, he's 5'3". It's kind of like a little spitfire, a little raunchy, kind of a nasty guy. He's not a lover guy. So the 6'3", chisel. That's not the Wolverine that I grew up celebrating. So, but some of the stories, my brother used to like DC, and me and everybody in my neighborhood, we used to all just like, I had like my comics in like plastic with cardboard on the back, just in mint condition, like a crate of about 300-400 of them, and we used to just kind of do comic trivia, everything until I started going to high school. All of a sudden, I thought it was too cool for comic books, so I kind of, I had to stop reading them and like, hey, I give it to my brother, you can have them and stuff. But I've always, the whole, we used to go to there was a little store in Morris County Mall, Fat Moose, little comic store in the corner. Yeah, we used to go there.
Fat Moose still exists.
Really?
Yeah, it's on Ridgedale Avenue in Cedar Knolls now, but it still exists.
Is it the same guy?
I don't know if it's the same guy. All I know is it exists.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And there used to be another comic book store right on I think it was on Martin Luther King. I mean, we used to get the books for what, 20 cents or something like that. So I used to love the Marvel universe. Jean Grey, the Dark Phoenix was those types of things. So
sure.
Yeah. So, and as a matter of fact, like my book, there's a lot of elements of the kind of the X-Men like dichotomy there. There's definitely influence from being a Marvel fan versus the DC world, which I think is kind of corny.
Yeah. So do you want to just tell people what the storyline is about in Born Pariah?
Yeah, sure. And here is the Born Pariah. So basically, Born Pariah, at the point when the story begins, there has been 4 years of Black teens in Atlanta that have been they've developed these unknown superhuman powers out of where they so the first instance of it, they determined through all kind of genetic tests and stuff that there was some mutation of variant gene, so they started calling variants. And throughout the 4 years, more variants have just started to pop up, and society has welcomed kind of subtly, welcomed them, but at arm's length. And the variants have existed, but kind of in the shadows, not really letting themselves be known that they have this thing, so they don't have any kind of, the eyes and the types of things that people who are marginalized kind of have when they, have these. So they
Sure.
just kind of sit in the background. So at this point at this point, there are certain variants that have gotten tired of simulation. They're starting to get tired of, sitting back and being looked at as something other than just normal. They're starting to kind of click together. There's also a guy named Jules Jones he's a director of a community center, and he's been trying to help variants on the side to understand and deal with their skills, and how to use them responsibly. So at this point, one variant gets killed in police custody, which starts a riot and starts, the protests and the riots. And the group called the FAM, who is tired of assimilation, feels it's time to go on. The assault. It's time for them to step up. So the other group with Jules and his young variants, he's trying to get these kids together to stop the city from blowing up. Being in the position that we acknowledge that what happened with the cops is an issue. But if we turn this into a variant versus everyone, all variants are going to be a target. So that's kind of where the story begins.
Understood.
And this is this story is not designed to be like a story. It's designed to be the beginning of a story. That's there's so many tentacles that going to branch off from this. I got books for days that I want to do with this story, but this is where it begins. So really introducing these characters and kind of the challenges that they have. It's really a lot about the characters more so than it is the powers.
Yeah. Do you see yourself as any character in here?
To be honest, there's more me and Jules, as the helper and kind of, I've always been a moderate kind of, let's work together type of person, for common goals and also trying to avoid conflict. But then I also understand there's time where conflict is necessary. So I think this is the position Jules is in,
Yeah. So does I don't know. You said it. So does this story take place in Atlanta?
Yes, it is in Atlanta.
So when you wrote the book, did you use your knowledge and your years of living in Atlanta to kind of place characters, storylines within places that you were familiar with?
Yeah. And in the book, there are multiple scenes directly from Atlanta. That's my idea was to kind of branch this off from Atlanta. Every time I've done other stories in the past, and I typically just kind of try to I want to talk about stuff that I know. So for example, Jules, his backstory, he grew up in northwestern New Jersey, so I always put little plugs. But if you know me and you know about me, you'll see some of the references and everything I put. It's relative.
Yeah. So Jules enjoyed going to having a piece of pizza at Suvio's from time.
Yeah, or Mamma Mia's, which is with always mine. It's always that Suvio's, Mamma Mia's. Mamma Mia's was my thing.
Yeah. In the book, do any Waffle Houses get blown up?
No Waffle Houses. None, but they should.
So for you, are you waiting to see how this book does before you start creating, let's say, the second part of it?
No, and yes. I have been developing the storyline ever since I finished it. I mean, even before I finished it, the continuation of it, where I want to do with it. I probably won't start on production until I spend a fair amount of time really working on. I think I need to kind of market this one and develop some,
Okay.
spend some time in that.
Yeah.
I typically, after I've done something, I just kind of, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I've had several people say that to me immediately. Okay, what's next? I'm like, well, can I finish this one first and we'll read the book?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I have an idea. I would love to extend this universe. I'm trying to move a little bit into, if I could motion and all that, and, see if I can get a channel or how, just see. I'm trying to move into some of the more modern technology, so it's not just a graphic novel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Utilize some of those things, AI and all that.
Sure. I'm wondering, when you write a graphic novel like this, and you're out writing it in your mind, do you think about, I'm just, as an author, I'm just curious, do you play it in your head, if this were ever to be shown on the big screen
Mm-hmm.
or on Netflix, do you ever think about how it would play out on the screen?
Yeah, I do. I think I actually write with that mindset, trying to make it
Okay.
theatrical. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
So it's for like a character like Jules, if somebody comes to you, if Disney comes to, hey, we want to buy the rights to this, right? And you have a screenplay for it,
Mm-hmm.
do you, in your mind, who would play Jules?
And who would play Jules? Let's see. I guess there are several people I could see. I'm not good with names at all. Um, I have to think about that. Excuse me.
Like, would you play somebody like a Samuel L. Jackson, or is he more like a Denzel
Well,
character?
he's much younger than both of them. I would say so.
Okay.
He's probably someone like, what's the guy's name from Kamari? I forgot his name. Maybe someone that's not so popular, but
Okay.
I have, because he's in his he's young 40s,
Okay.
bald,
Okay.
a little stocky maybe. So there's some
Okay.
people that
Okay.
I could see that was play that role. But if I was to do a movie, I wouldn't want one of those superstars to do it. I think
Okay.
I would like kind of unknowns.
Somebody fresh.
Yeah, fresh
Yeah.
energy, and
Yeah.
because there was that's what they did with X-Men. Thought they,
Hmm.
like Halle Berry played Storm. I thought
Right.
that was
Right.
horrible. Storm was,
Well, yeah, they had Patrick Stewart as Dr. Xavier as well.
yeah.
You know, bringing Hugh Jackman in, like you said, as Wolverine.
Hmm. Yeah, I know
So
that bad.
how do you feel? Yeah, how do you feel like a movie's like Deadpool?
I mean, Deadpool. Well, I love Deadpool, and it's a whole different thing. I think that was the casting was part of the beauty of Deadpool. I don't think
Hmm.
without Ryan, what's his last name? Uh, yeah,
Reynolds.
Reynolds. I think without him there, it would have been the same. I think they're thinking about recasting him, right?
Hmm.
But no, I loved what he did, because they had Deadpool in one of the Wolverine movies,
Yeah.
and that it was
Yeah.
horrible. It was horrible. The story, everything was horrible. So, but I think the adaptation of the book and everything, I thought it was Deadpool was great.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and
And before you did Born Pariah, you also did another
yeah,
book
yeah,
called The
the
Path.
path, yeah, yeah.
And what's that book about?
So the path, and this is something that I started many years ago, because I never considered myself to be a writer. I'm just a
Uh-huh.
creative, and I thought this was a new challenge for me. But it was, and so I started maybe 7, 8 years ago, and it was right when I had an idea about it's actually a book about AI. So
Okay.
the background behind the path is, um, uh, over the next 10 years, this is real, over the
Hmm.
next 10 years, like, we are approaching a transition the same way that we approached the internet, the world, commercial internet. But this one is going to be a lot more dramatic, in my opinion. I think it's going to be so destructive to like humanity, to the way of life, to everything, impacting our entire life experience. So I think, the backdrop of this movie is that over this decade that we're in now, there's going to be a huge displacement of millions of jobs. I mean, it's kind of dystopia. Millions of jobs in 10 years, 100 million jobs. And most of life is able to pretty much run itself. And now there's huge disruption. There's huge protest. There's massive job loss, all kinds of stuff, to the point where we're confronted with like a need for a solution. And the path, the government has decided to create an application that is designed to make the government a lot more efficient. And it's called the government entity is the Federal Department of Efficiency and Compliance, which is interesting since I wrote this years ago and Doge was last year, with basically the same mandate. But this is a technical mandate to make the country run a lot more efficiently. Now, and the program is called The Path. No, actually, the program worked so well that they created a commercial version of that program called The Path to help people and their lives, help make this country and run a lot more efficiently by using AI and people together efficiently in order to create a life experience that is a lot more happy, effective, efficient, and pleasurable. So that's called the Total Life Path. So this is actually a program called The Path. So when the book starts, it's the first generation who has lived exclusively with the path as their guide. I think it's in 2053 or something like that. So the path, which it basically works with individuals to kind of direct them into the best decision at every moment using their digital reality. And this also includes a lot of, at this point, social interactions are all through virtual reality, augmented reality, everything. So you have this whole challenge with separating fact from fiction, or reality from perception. Our protagonist, Jolam, who is now a high school senior, and he's about to officially move into the path. He's one of those old school people that just has a whole problem with the whole idea of this real controlled environment that does not appreciate individuality. It's more of a real, if you are against the path, you are against the country type of mentality, and against the collective good. So as he embarks through his life and he tries to move through the path, he's confronted with kind of a corrupt scenario which challenges and rocks everything. And he has to see how he's going to move forward now with this knowledge. But so the big, there's a lot of undertones in this story that have much to do with real perception versus reality, or if there's a difference, like that convergence of, how we see it versus how it is versus who cares. Those types of things are throughout this story. And I think right now it's become so relevant because right now, and it's just going to continue to grow, like this whole idea of like building your own reality. And, what is real? What is that? Is real even, is that a construct? Is it even a thing? Is reality just a story you tell? Or is my real and your real the same? Does it even make a difference? So that's kind of what the path is about. and it was a real interesting journey writing that story. It was tough as hell because, trying to craft and build a world that doesn't exist in words took me a lot. But I think the response that I've gotten from it has been real favorable. People love the concept and the execution. There's some things I might have done a little different about it because it is a long story, but I think it does what I wanted it to do.
Yeah, yeah. Barry, if somebody wants to buy a copy of Born Pariah or The Path, where can they get it from?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's called BeRichBooks.com. So that's where I do have BornPariah.com is where you get a broader breakdown and background of Born Pariah, the story.
Okay.
But to actually purchase any of this stuff, although you can find all of them on Amazon, I'd prefer you not.
Okay. Understood. Understood.
But yeah.
So as we're pushing up against our time right here, one of the last questions I ask any fellow alumnus at the end of this interview is if you can go back to the night before high school graduation and slip yourself a note, what would you tell yourself 35 years ago?
Yeah, man, I would just tell myself not to take any of this too seriously, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. You're going to make some mistakes. Those are lessons, and just, but do not take it too seriously. And I'm still telling myself that. So it hasn't completely dug in because, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, listen, Barry, I appreciate you taking the time sitting with us today. The book is Born Pariah. This is Barry Richards. And I'm Pete Barbonis for Beyond the Green. Thanks for watching. And until next time, be good to each other. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Pete.